All right, everybody, welcome back to the Move podcast. Look at this. All back together in the same room. Luckily we're in the same room. I don't know what the fuck George got into last night, but I saw the Instagram post. I was seriously worried about the man.
Yeah, I was one of those impromptu get-togethers at my house.
It was your birthday.
Impromptu on your birthday?
It was.
I failed to mention in the post it was your birthday, so I'm sorry, my bad.
Well, I actually have a funny story of actually how it happened, because I was supposed to fly to see my son race the national championships, and my buddy rented a small plane, and I got in the plane, and I actually had a panic attack in the plane, so I couldn't make the flight. I had to get off of the plane, and went to go have a couple birthday beers with a buddy of mine, and then all of a sudden, we had like 25 people and it showed up at my house.
And I promise we're going to talk about the tour because we have a lot to talk about, but I have to clarify this because, you will not travel without a jizzy. Your friend charters a jizzy and it's too small, so you have to get off.
One of those tight ones. It was tight,
no bar.
And I don't know what was happening, and I've had these sort of experiences once in a while over the last couple of years, and yes, I had a panic attack.
Right, so for all you fanboys and fangirls out there, anytime you want to go hang with George and get the jizzy, it's got to be big. Because he will not. He'll see a
stand
small
up
one.
Only. You got to stand up.
He'll fake one of these panic attacks so he can get off. Anyways, also joined by JB Hager, and over there in the middle of the night, it seems like Johan Brunel over in Madrid, breaking down the 2022 Tour de France, which starts tomorrow on a Friday. So strange, but nonetheless, here we are. Before we jump into it, though, because you touched on the small jizzy, but we just finished watching Enzo's race.
Yep.
And what we're talking about is the national champion. Enzo Hincapie. We watched, it was cool. We watched the sprint finish as best we could on FaceTime. Cool to see it happen. Cool to see the emotion from the family.
And these 13, 14-year-olds look like they're 20 to 25-year-old pros.
Right.
Yeah, I sent you guys a picture. Yesterday got second in the time trial, and I mean, these kids look legit. Proud of him today. You know, about 40 guys in the group. And of course, him and I train together all the time. We do a lot of race scenarios, a lot of lead outs, but I was not sure how he would be in a sprint without me there telling him exactly what to do. And the dude won it. I'm super excited.
Nice job, Papa. I think he won by like 8 or 9 bike links, right?
Yeah, I'll post out the video later.
All right, dope. Today's show brought to you by Element. We talk about it all the time. It is the summertime. It's time to get outside. It's time to be the outdoor kitty. You know me. I sweat my ass off. This is our go-to hydration source. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium, no sugar, no gluten, no artificial ingredients. It is the real deal. Free gift with purchase. Our listeners can get a free, right here, Element sample pack with any order when you order at drinklmnt.com/themove. So head on over to drinklmnt.com/themove. Get your free gift with your purchase and solve your sweating problems like me. Also today brought to you, and it's so great to talk about this company while I have the man in person.
Can I step out?
because he can't
for a second.
We're brought to you by Manscaped. This is just, we talked about it on other shows, but it's just look at the hairy. Look how hairy this man is. Like the hair is almost touching JB and I. But they've got their biggest and best ultimate hygiene bundle yet, the Platinum Package 4.0. Check this thing out. This includes the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer. This is very important. The Ultra Premium Body Wash, Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo plus conditioner, Ultra Premium deodorant, Crop Preserver, Anti-Chafing Ball deodorant. This is the shit you never thought you would say. And this is my favorite, the Reviver Ball Spray Toner. All of this comes in this little package. And George, you are not getting away from manscaping on this show. You were here for 3 weeks. Dude, you're looking hairy. You are going to manscape.
I will embrace the manscaping.
This thing covers all bases from head to toe. The best bang for your shebang. This is so good. 20% off and free shipping with the code THEMOVE at manscaped.com. That's all one word, THEMOVE. All right. Man, it feels like it's been forever since since the last tour, but I don't know. I feel like this one's going to be worth the wait. I mean, this is, I don't know.
It feels like forever because we had two so close with the COVID postponement. It was in the fall, and then it felt like we were right back at it, which we were.
No doubt. And we're starting in Copenhagen, which I remember starting in Copenhagen in 1996, not the Tour de France, the Tour de Denmark, after Bjarne Riis won the Tour de France. And I'll tell you what, we've been around a lot of fans, but the amount of fans and the ambiance and the feel of like a party atmosphere back then was incredible. I cannot imagine starting the Tour de France there in Copenhagen this year. It's going to be over the top insane.
Well, we say it all the time. When the Tour leaves France, the crowds, I mean, I don't know what the multiple is, but it feels like there is 10 times the amount of spectators there. They just don't, and think about it. I mean, you're not getting that. I mean, it's going to be forever until the Tour de France comes back to Denmark. So people come out and that is cool, but it also leads to a ton of stress. You have, that many more people on the side of the road. There's all these other potential things, people getting in the road. We saw last year, some idiot with a sign. It just puts everybody on edge.
Yeah, hopefully the spectators have learned from watching what happened last year's tour, and they're a bit more respectful. We don't want to see any of those accidents happen, although it's going to be a super hectic week. We all know small roads, lots of roundabouts there in Denmark.
Before we get into the favorites, which there are obvious favorites this year, let's kind of turn this over to Johan to really break down some of the key stages to look for and an odd first week that could throw Pogačar for a loop. Who knows? But Johan on his third podcast of the day.
Yeah. Well, and not just an odd first week. I mean, this first week, it's heads up bike racing. You have to be you always want to be at the front of the race in the Tour de France, but this is exceptional.
Super Mosca.
You guys always use the phrase, it's not a week where you can win it, but it's a week where you can lose
100%.
it. It's one of those, right?
100%.
Yeah. And going off what we saw yesterday, guys, at the team presentation, the mass of people that were there. I mean, I can only imagine how many people are going to be on those three stages starting tomorrow. It may be bad weather, but it won't matter for the Danes. It will be unbelievable, the amount of spectators, which of course, as we said, makes it a lot more dangerous. I think the roads are a bit larger in Denmark than in France, so hopefully that's not an issue. But we start with a 13.2 kilometer time trial, so that's already the first appointment for the guys of GC. There's obviously guys specialists like Filippo Ganna and Wout van Aert and even Stefan Bissiger and Mathieu van der Poel. Stefan Koen.
And don't forget Olympic champion Primož Roglič, who's one of the favorites of the tour as well.
Yeah, but I think for tomorrow, probably, if it looks like it's going to be wet for everybody.
Yeah.
So I think that Roglič and Pogačar and Geraint Thomas, who are probably the three best time trialists of the favorites, they will just not take that extra little bit of risk, I think. But so tomorrow's the first key stage. It's where you see where everybody is, and the differences are not big, but it's an indication. It's an indication, and it's sometimes it's a mental victory. To be 5 or 7 or 8 seconds ahead of your other rivals.
Yeah, I was going to say, Johan, this is super important. I mean, with Lance, when we'd start in these time trials, I remember that one year you caught Ulrich. I mean, this is a first sort of a mental battle that you can get on your competitor. So yes, it's going to be raining. It's going to be risky, but I don't see these guys taking it easy by any sense. Perhaps taking less risks, but
because it's 13 kilometers. I mean, that is long for a prologue. Right? 13 kilometers. If you're a GC guy, that's an opportunity to take real time off of another GC rival that's maybe not a great time trialist. I'm just sitting here looking also at the course. I mean, if it's wet, I'm looking at this thing.
There's a lot of corners.
This is a very, very technical prologue. Like that, and then you throw in rain, then you throw in the nerves, all the thing. I don't know if you've seen this, G. I mean, I haven't
downloaded it yet. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those aren't just 90-degree turns.
No, this isn't four corners and let's let the best man win. But go back to my first point, 13K, you got to be on.
You got to be on. You got to be super careful. You got to visualize and memorize every corner in your head while you're warming up. You don't know exactly the line you're taking. Like you said, there's no seconds to give up in tomorrow's race.
Do they, when it's especially the kickoff, the prologue, the teams are there for presentations. They're there earlier. How much time do they get with a blocked off course to get a good look, or they don't get a blocked off course?
Well, it's been a minute since Johan would probably have a better answer.
Yeah. Usually they get to ride it the day before.
Yeah, I think typically you get, again, Johan, maybe they allow them more time.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes you have the problem that some of those roads are one direction. But at least tomorrow in the morning, there's going to be a time where that they can do it at race speed. Like 2 hours, a 2 hour slot or something. What we will see tomorrow also is that all of the big guys start early. There's nobody starting in the last 40 guys. It's going to be boring to watch it until the end because there's not any good guys anymore in the last 40 riders.
Because hang on, Johan, just to clarify, is that because they're forecasting more rain later in the day? Well, that's that really sucks. So
the world champions will start early.
We're on mountain time. So guess what, George?
I
know you're working on just a little bit of sleep, buddy. You got to get up early tomorrow.
Well, first of all, I can't sleep at altitude the first 3 days, and I'll be up at 5 a.m. ready to roll. But Johan, tell the world champion is starting early in the.
Yeah. Absolutely,
Wow.
He starts in the first batch. Yeah. Roglic starts in the first batch, and then I think in terms of Jumbo-Visma, Vingegaard is their second guy who starts, and Van Aert is their third guy who starts. So Pogacar starts also early. All the big guys start early. I can only imagine that. I mean, they predict rain the whole afternoon, but
I thought it was the winner of the Tour had to start last. Is that not a thing?
Well, the rules say that you can choose. Of course, the organizer is going to put pressure on the team to have the yellow jersey start last, but you're still free to decide. You're still free to decide. So I mean, listen, yeah.
Well, not to mention it's the from the first rider to the last, we're talking hours. Mm-hmm. So that just keep in mind you got to race the next morning. I jumped ahead a little bit and looked at the route on stage 2. Jesus. So why not buy a couple hours as well? Maybe
a couple more recovery.
More recovery hours.
And what a lot of people don't realize, yes, it's a 13-kilometer stage, but we all know the preparation that goes into this 13 kilometers, the warm up, the mental planning for this sort of event, getting all these riders and teams are scattered all over Denmark. They all have to get there for the time the course is closed. They have to figure out their warm up. So mentally, it's still really tough and physically hard on the body. It's not like quick event, we're done. It's still very challenging.
It's the whole day.
Yeah,
it's the whole day. A whole day. Yeah.
Well, let's. I'm sorry, you were probably going to say the same thing.
No, I just was going to say, again, before we get into the favorites, Johan had identified about 10 key stages. I don't think we're going to have time today to go into all of those, but what are some other ones that really jump out at you?
But I think, so tomorrow, of course, and then stage 5, the cobblestones, crucial, very, very important stage for all the favorites.
Always.
Stage 7 is the first uphill finish. It's Super Planche de Belfi. Which is
hard.
Bring good memories for Pogacar, where he won his first Tour de France
with the gravel section on top.
Yes. And then you have basically stage 9, 10, 11, and 12, or 4 really difficult stages after each other. 3 of which are in the Alps. So in my opinion, the second week of the Tour de France is the hardest week. That's where the decision is going to be made, where the difference is going to be made, and then in the last week that you have 2 Pyrenees stages and a time trial, 40-kilometer time trial, which is quite unique in nowadays cycling.
Finally, none of these Pannekuchen time trials we've been doing. Like,
yeah,
40K is we're starting to get back. I'd love to get back to the day of 250-kilometer time trials, a 50-kilometer team time trial, a prologue. Come on,
who does that favor? The longer time trial.
Well, but going back to those hard stages after stage 7, 8, 9, we as commentators and fans of the sport have to hope and pray that all of the favorites will make it through this first week, because we don't want to see them go out early. It's going to be so dangerous, chaotic. This bridge that everybody's talking about on stage 2.
I don't know how we skipped over stage 2. I mean, I'm looking at the map right now. The entire, probably 80% of the course is along the coast, and then it finishes with a 20-kilometer bridge over the there's some, I don't know what fucking ocean this is. I don't even know where Denmark is, but it's over the ocean. And then they finish. It's not like typically they would have, okay, let's let the boys be nervous. Let's get everybody on edge and then give them 100K to the finish. No. 20K over the water, whatever ocean that is, boom.
And you got teams, Johan, correct me if I'm wrong, you got teams like Jumbo that have put a lot of emphasis on building a team around this first week. They have the best riders in the world for this.
They have four classics guys compared to other teams who have really been focusing on getting their strongest guys for the difficult stages. I think it's a smart move from Jumbo-Visma, to have
I agree.
4 guys. They have Van Aert, they have Laporte, they have Van Hooijdonk, and they have Benoot, who and the other guys can ride their bike too, the climbers. So
and these guys look at these stages against the Tour de France GC candidates. They go, "You're in my turf now, baby." Come follow me. Get out of my way. I got my guys.
For example, if you look at Jumbo-Visma, you could say, okay, stage 2 and stage 5 could be something where they could already try something because they'll have to try at every single opportunity. But the problem they have is that of all the favorites, Pogačar is the best guy on the cobbles. He's better than Vingegaard, he's better than Roglic, he's better than Thomas. Right?
Yes.
He was second in the Tour of Flanders, so that's obviously. But he can be isolated, and they can. I think what Jumbo-Visma will try to do in that first week is, get their guys in the front out of precaution. And once you're in the front, you guys have done it when we had the stages over the cobbles. Once you're in the front, you just go.
Once you make it there.
Yeah,
then all you're thinking about is not having a mechanical or flat or something. But once you enter in, top 10, top 20, you're good. Just don't flat.
What I keep hearing you guys saying is that we might have a gap, a significant gap of the GC contenders after the first week. Especially or somebody getting in real trouble.
We're hoping not.
Look, George can do whatever you said you were going to do. Pray and do all these other things. You can do all that, whatever you want. That's not going to help.
No.
Okay.
Do you think we're going to lose some guys?
Yeah,
some
of course.
Favorites?
Yeah, look at the.
See, I'm hoping not. I'm hoping they all make it through.
What was that old MC Hammer song? You got to pray just to make it today. You got to pray. No, you can do all that. It ain't going to help.
Well, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that they're going to make it through.
Remember that MC Hammer song?
I want to see like a true classic battle, where
it would be, but George, how stressful the tour is already, putting that stage 2 in there, putting stage 5 in there. One of those guys is gonna have a problem for sure. It's like always. There are gonna be crashes. They're gonna hook into each other, pile-ups. Somebody's gonna go down, and then we hope that they can get back up. But look at Roglic last year. He just was caught in one of those massive crashes, and he was all beat up. And it would surprise me if nothing happens to at least one of the favorites. That's part of it.
And you guys know this better than anybody. How many stars have to align for repeats? And everyone's talking about Pogačar. 3 years in a row to be, he's already has 2 years under his belt, incident-free.
Yeah.
3 in a row, incident-free, statistically is not likely.
The first year he did miss a split in the crosswinds, lost about a minute there. But yeah, those little mistakes. You got to be super careful. Talk about this guy right here sitting next to me, 7 years of Tour de France's, and I think he had 2 crashes.
Small ones.
Kind of unheard of. And when he crashed, it was like a shitstorm. Like it was somebody's fault, of course, not his. But that's very rare that happens. That these guys aren't going to crash.
Tadej Pogačar knows how to ride a bike. That helps a lot. Like
no
being able to get out of situations that arise. Yeah. That's a bit. We all race with guys that you just they're just a crash waiting to happen. He's not one of them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's another advantage of Pogačar, for example, against 2 of his rivals, Roglic and Thomas. They go down quite a lot.
Yeah.
They tend to crash. I think Pogačar will miss Trentin though in the first week.
Well, we're going to talk about the cloud of COVID, which I think the world has. I don't know where we are on the spectrum of feeling like we're over it, but I know we're over it in terms of being sick of it, but it's a real thing, and it's sort of back with a semi-vengeance in Europe, which is it's already affected the race. We'll talk about in a second. But can I just say one thing? And you guys talk about all these favorites. We got Geraint Thomas is not a favorite.
Well, it's good to see him on top of Tour Switzerland.
Great. Johan, what place did I get in the Tour Switzerland in whatever fucked up year 2010?
2000.
Second or third?
Second.
Yeah. Guess what? I got like 102nd in the Tour de France. It doesn't matter. No.
Well, on that note, with Tour de Suisse and Geraint Thomas, we got a good look at Roglic at the Dauphiné. What are your thoughts on what you saw?
I thought he looked good, not great. I thought Vingegaard probably looked stronger than him, but I actually kind of like that position. I feel like in the years past, he's been so dominant all year long. This year, he seems to have taken a bit of a different approach. They went straight to altitude after the Tour. You know what? I kind of like
not as
what
fried,
I saw.
Not as worn out.
I think he might hit it.
I'm with you, George.
Yep.
I'm with you.
Wow.
George, Vingegaard looks stronger in the Dauphiné. But I think that, Roglic was a bit behind because, let's not forget, he got injured in the Tour of the Basque Country, then didn't race anymore since April, until the Dauphiné. So I think, he still has one level up to his level of the Dauphiné.
Yeah.
And I think this could be his advantage, to not have been so dominant as in other years.
Talk about doing something different. We also saw, I'm losing my mind, Pogačar go off and not do Dauphiné or Swiss. Did that even give us a real good indication of his level of fitness or no? That was like
the way he rode that race. It was like he was racing against juniors. Total domination, and perhaps not the deepest field, but they still had winner of Milan San Remo. They still had decent guys there, and it was crazy to see how good he was.
Yeah, he knows how to train. I think he'll
be fine.
Yeah. Before we jump into this COVID situation, talk a little bit about some other things that I think we think are items we just got to address. Today's show also brought to you by Athletic Greens. Now, this is I talk about all the time as well. This is my go-to because I'm trying to get better with the whole fruits and vegetables thing. I'm not there yet, so I don't miss a day without Athletic Greens, whether I'm at home or on the road. It's been a game changer for me, and the tagline is sort of take control of your health, but it's true. Like I feel an actual difference. Some of the smartest people I know actually swear by Athletic Greens. So what is in it? You've got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens. Start your day off right. Costs less than $3 a day. Nothing when you're talking about taking control of your health. Let's make it easy. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/themove. Once more, that's athleticgreens.com/themove. Last one. Today's show also brought to you by Dry Farm Wines. George, how much of this... Can you even look at a bottle of wine right now?
Currently not. No.
I start to see a little
I'm
sweat.
drinking some LMNT right now. So
I start to see a little sweat bubbling up just looking at alcohol.
Yeah.
We've partnered with Dry Farm Wines to do a really cool thing. We did the Italian Tour of Italy wine package. Now we have the Tour de France wine package, and then at the end of the year we'll do Tour Spain. For information, head on over to dryfarmwines.com/wedo. But before we do, did you know this? The FDA has approved over 70 additives in normal wine. So things are like dyes, flavoring, thickeners, sterilizers, GMO yeast, all these things. No, Dry Farm Wines has come along and they really, really closely source biodynamic and organic wines. And so, and that, by the way, they also have a standalone lab that tests all of these wines to make sure that they are practicing what they preach. They also, I love this, because I don't know, you were going to notice it this year in 2022. It's a different Lance. Okay, so watch me smile. They have a happiness promise.
We need that.
No,
we need that because you have been extremely.
Right. If you're not 100% happy, send it back and they'll refund it. But I promise you're going to love it and you're going to feel a lot better the next day. That's dryfarmwines.com/wedo.
We are taking control of our health this month at the Tour de France. We are hydrating with LMNT. We are nutritioning with, if that's a word, with athletic greens.
We should
We're
probably
drinking healthy wine and we're shaving our balls. Let's go. This is going to be a good one.
So now he wants to
my
talk about
goodness.
shaving his balls. Okay.
We're getting
now,
a
so
very
I
special
have,
George
I actually,
this year.
I told
Man.
you I was bringing the heat. I'm excited. Like, I'm super happy to be here. Drove 40 hours to get here into Tacoma, and I'm here, and let's go. We're talking Tour de France.
Johan was on fire before the show, and now George is going.
God damn.
Wow.
And by the way, for you loyal listeners and viewers, it's somewhere around here somewhere. All the shit that we've had before. All right, the swear jar. I actually see it's right here in front of me. Swear jar's back. $20 every bad word that any of us say. Not that we think, but we say. We got the boomstick. Boomstick is back, so we'll be giving out some boomsticks. But yeah, and then we got a cool nonprofit initiative too that we'll talk about. I think the swear jar should go towards that.
Definitely.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Let's talk about COVID, the vid,
The vid is
Rona.
back.
It's
The
already
Rona.
affected.
It's already
Took about 30-40% of the peloton out in Tour of Switzerland. Already taking out some big name riders, some directors. We don't want to see this continue. Johan, talk about some of the main guys that we've been taken out so far by COVID before the start of the race.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I mean, I was surprised to see it all of a sudden reappear in the Tour of Switzerland, because until the Tour of Switzerland, we hadn't seen anything. Dauphiné, all the classics, things were kind of more relaxed a little bit. All of a sudden, Tour of Switzerland, 30 or 40 riders out, and the Dauphiné, nothing, which was strange. And now all of a sudden at the Tour, some guys who show up and have to go home. We had Matteo Trentin, important rider for Pogacar, of course, who had to go home. The main director of Jumbo-Visma, Marijn Zeeman, had to go back home. Tim de Klerk, probably the hardest worker of the whole peloton for Quickstep, and Fabio Jacobsen, and a few other guys, Daryl Impey.
Yep.
Brian Coquard today or this morning, I think, had to go home. So yeah, I mean, it's back. It's super contagious. The symptoms are.
Is that
not
unlike?
very-
Is that unlike the other coronavirus that was just not that contagious?
I mean, I think the latest versions are more contagious than the first ones.
And Johan,
People don't know.
Are they?
don't know they're passing it.
Two questions. Are they testing every day? And what's the time limit in terms of, like, if someone went positive this morning, do they still have time to bring in a replacement rider, or is there some sort of cutoff?
No, I mean, I guess it's going to be until the start of
I would think.
maybe some teams have two spares in Copenhagen. I would definitely do that. Testing is every 2 days.
Got it.
And you have to be able to, if you test positive, you have to be able to provide a negative antigen test a few hours before the start or something.
In
so
case it's a
protocol
false positive, right?
there's gonna be a lot of false positives. Reportedly the rapid antigen tests pick up some other viruses too. It's not precise. I mean, that's actually a witness statement from a German guy who invented that test, who said that last year already. So yeah, I mean, it's gonna go back to being super careful. Masks are gonna be back. Journalists are gonna be back with the long stick doing the interviews, and riders and teams are gonna have to isolate themselves.
I sort of liked that part.
What is the policy?
By the way, I mean, there was a massive breakout at the Tour of Switzerland. Like, this is a country where you can fucking lick the streets. I mean, this is the cleanest place, maybe, certainly in Europe, maybe in the world. Like, that's not good. Like, whoa.
And then, Johan, what is the policy on these positives per team, and
Right.
what does that mean
That's
for the whole
changed.
team?
That
That's
has
changed. So now when you have before when you had two positives in the team, the team was out. That's not the case anymore.
Okay.
Now it's a
By the way,
situation with-
that's
Yeah.
a heavy price to pay.
Absolutely.
That rule.
And also, Johan, it changed a lot of, I think, the team's approach to what they were doing after the Tour of Switzerland. Teams got scared. some of the riders were not allowed to do the national championships, which they typically would do. So that I think that changed the program about a bit leading up to the tour, just because of the fear of these, outbreaks going on.
Yeah, and if you would still be racing the Tour, George, you wouldn't have been able to celebrate your birthday yesterday.
I know.
No family parties, nothing. It
was outside in the pool. It's all good. Fresh air.
This is a sore subject with George, but even with a COVID positive on Quick Step, Cavendish still not going to the Tour for the chance to break the Eddie Merckx record.
That one hurts.
A very strong Mark Cavendish.
Very strong.
I mean, it's look. They could, if he's just not there, but this smells.
I agree. I agree. There's something behind this whole thing of not taking it.
Let's ask the Belgian, because it is clearly an inside. It's a Belgian inside job for sure. So why don't you? There's only one Belgian on the show at the moment.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk to us?
I don't think so. Well, first of all, you're right. I mean, Mark Cavendish now, end of June 2022, compared to 1 year ago, he's a lot stronger.
Right.
He's a lot stronger.
And I seem to remember both you guys hating on him a little bit, before his last comeback here. Yeah, he's not going to win again. He's done. Blah blah blah.
Here's the thing.
And I kept behind him.
No.
And then he starts winning. Now you guys jumping back on the bandwagon.
Okay, great. So guess what? Whoever, we're wrong. That's fine. That was then. This is now. We are saying he is riding great. He does deserve to be there. If he were there, I don't know how he doesn't break the record.
Yeah.
Look, we're going to talk about Chris Froome in a second. I think that's almost a waste of time talking about it. But if Chris Froome comes back and is great again, I'll be the first guy to say, shit, I was wrong. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let the director explain that decision, because I think, why couldn't you let Cav go get his win in the early and then go to work for the rest of the team?
No, Cav, I mean, a pure sprinter cannot really do work for a team. He could lead out. That could be the deal. Try to win a stage early and then lead out. But Cav has never been leading out anybody. He doesn't know how to lead out. Same like Lance didn't know how to get a bottle from the car. Cavendish, because he always got. I mean, it's true. It's true.
That's actually not
you
true.
Didn't even.
That's actually not true.
George, come on.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him carry somebody else's water bottle.
I mean, it's funny because I can't remember ever doing it, but I'm pretty sure I did. So this feels like all right, let's go back to talking about Cavendish.
So, Johan, what's the reason for leaving him out?
They said it already last year. That Jakobsen was going to be the sprinter of the team. There must have been something there in the contract negotiations that went wrong.
But Jakobsen's been doing well, but he hasn't been that dominant as he has in the past. He hasn't won that many World Tour races. Cav has. Cav is the biggest star in cycling right now. I mean, what are the reasons to leave him home?
And Johan, let's not talk about what you read. Let's be real here.
Yeah,
like there's something else at play here. I don't know if this is. Look, I mean, let's just do the roadmap here. You've got a Belgian team. Cav is tied for the all-time stage wins with a Belgian, the greatest of all time, Eddie Merckx. If I'm Eddie, who gives a shit? Like you're the GOAT.
That's not true. That's not true. That has zero to do with the decision.
A lot of people disagree with you.
I don't think so.
Right. Including me.
I just think that they put. I mean, I've said in one of the earlier shows, if I would have been Lefebvre, I would have taken both of them to the Tour.
Yeah, totally.
Because who knows what's going to happen in the first week?
Especially with Alaphilippe not there.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to happen if Jakobsen's in a crash and he's out? They're done. They have nothing. They have a strong team. They have stage hunters and stuff like that, but that's not what they're going for the Tour for. So. I mean, it's a decision that Lefebvre made a while ago, and he just stayed with his decision. Let's not forget, Lefebvre is a guy. He's smart in running his team. Nobody can say different. He's been around forever. Every single year, the best team. This year they were a bit off in the sprint classics, but Remco brought them back with the Liège-Bastogne-Liège win, and let's not forget, this guy has his team tied up until 2026. You know, he has all his sponsorship covered. All of the sponsors of Lefevre are local. It's not just Belgians, local to Lefevre's area. Yeah. So they're personal friends. And they say, okay, we don't care. We don't care if Cavendish. We want to see quick step. We want to win stages. We follow you. You know, there's been no pressure at all from sponsors.
But I mean, Johan, what about a question of respect? I mean, you see Cavendish's interview on Sunday. Won the national championships. Rode amazing. Hadn't even gotten a phone call from the team indicating one way or the other whether he might go to the tour. This guy is the largest personality in cycling. Not even a phone call from your team. Come on. It
is a sad thing to see. I have to agree that he's kind of, there, he has won the most stages ever in the Tour de France together with the greatest of all times. And he's there, and it's sad to see. I mean, he's kind of begging to go to the Tour.
Yeah.
That's, but it is what it is. I mean, Lefevre is a guy, he runs a tight ship. He's the boss and he decides. And once he decides, he doesn't come back on it.
I got a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions on that.
How long is his contract there? And we're going down this rabbit hole. We can wrap it up in a second.
He's finished. His contract is finished.
Okay, great.
And
all right, so he's got to tell these guys to pound sand.
Yeah, I told him, you got to go.
You got to go.
And he said he's wanted to race. Cav wants to race another year. He's already said
why wouldn't he? Go find a team that can support him and get him in the race, and then it's up to him. But
no, he said he wants to race 2 more years. JB, he said he wants to race 2 more years.
All right, whatever.
Last question on this, Johan, and then we'll move on to the next. What was there any likelihood or any chance that he could do a last minute switch in teams, or that wasn't ever even discussed?
No
chance.
No. That would have been.
Lefevre would not let that happen.
No.
Well, you imagine
he would have taken the paper. Why wouldn't Lefevre take $1 million transfer fee? He's all about the money. It's all about that paper.
All about paper. Yeah. I wonder if he gets anxious in small jizzies.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Don't remind me. I get tight chested.
Hey, speaking of people that came back from the dead or trying to come back from the dead, we got to talk about Chris Froome. Right? Back in the race, he's come out and said on the record that, of course, this peloton really knows how good they are or they're not through testing and all these things. He said, I'm close to, producing some of the best numbers that I've produced back in the day that I was winning the Tour. Now, that might be a whole different ball of wax because Pogačar and Roglič,
they're doing more.
They're pretty incredible. But, of course, the road will prove whether or not the test was accurate. But I
think we got to look at it like this. I mean, he went through an incredibly bad accident.
Yeah,
and we're used to seeing him. He's won 4 Tour de France's. We're used to seeing him being dominant. I think right now it's a question of progression, not perfection. And we've seen progression. I mean, we've seen him make a first group in a big mountain day before the Tour de France. We hadn't seen that in years. That's a positive sign.
Yeah,
he's progressing.
That is.
He was also on Team Sky. With everything.
Yeah.
And he looks skinny again. He looks skinny again.
Very skinny
compared to the 2 years before, where he has never looked skinny. He says he's 10, 15 watts off his best performances. I'm afraid that's not enough in today's peloton. They're way ahead. But I think we're going to see a Chris Froome. He's going to be in the race. He's going to be, he's not going to be in the front, in my opinion. But he's also not going to be in the first guys in the first group dropped.
Well, he said he's stage hunting, right? He said he's out there to try and win stages. Yeah. Yeah, that look. The guy goes and wins a stage, or even wins 2 stages.
That would be amazing.
That's amazing. That's a total mic drop. And
not only that,
I'll sit here and eat my hat.
Let's talk about the Mo. The Mo of that team has changed too. The morale. They've got it going on now with Fulsang. They got Michael Woods winning races now. They've had a terrible start to the year with injuries and bad luck.
Facing relegation.
Now they're got 3rd place overall in Tour of Switzerland. Mike Woods wins a big race. I feel like their momentum is going their way now.
Yeah, and the fight for relegation is obviously going to be an issue also in the Tour. I mean, it's already an issue now because you can see that certain teams have not selected their best riders. Certain teams that are, like, for example, Movistar is one of the teams who is also in the zone of potential relegation. They only have one of their top 7 best riders on the Tour de France team. they left all the potential guys to score points out of the
in
tour.
the panic cooking races.
In these panic cooking races. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Well,
I know,
then the system's broken. That's the tour is the tour. It's the greatest race in the world. It's the greatest spectacle. You got to have the best guys. Relegation or not.
I agree.
Yeah. Before we get, JB's got a few emails. Let's just touch on the prologue tomorrow because this is I'm a little bummed. I'm gonna have to apparently get up at like 5 with George to watch all the favorites go off.
No, you don't because it's they start later, Lance. They don't start like a normal stage.
Yeah, they start in the afternoon.
Oh,
definitely.
excellent. This is good. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on this because there's one guy is like a super favorite, right?
I would agree, but you're not gonna like this. You're not gonna like my pick for tomorrow.
Okay.
Johan might not either. I'm gonna go with Bissinger.
No, don't
Bissinger for tomorrow.
Bissinger. Okay.
That's
based off
my pick.
Based off what, George? Based off what? What do you have any information? Any information you're sharing?
I
with
don't
us?
always divulge my sources, but I know that this has been a major focus of this young man's total year. They put a whole research department on this prologue, so I think we're going to see.
You do have information. You do have.
We're going to see some cool little things on his bike that we might have not have seen before, skin suits, all kinds of things. And the guy can go. He's a good time trialist. Of course,
he ain't beating Filippo Ganna.
You got Wout van Aert as well. I mean, it's not a shoe-in for Ganna beat Wout van Aert by like 2 seconds
on a technical course with rainy roads. There's no shoe-in for anybody.
For nobody.
But pound for pound, everything equal. Nobody's beating Ganna. I'm sorry. You can have all the whatever you said about the skin suit and this.
That's why we're here.
And Ganna skips the Giro where he dominated the last 2 years to focus on this.
I know, George. I know why you say Bissinger is going to win.
Why? Even if I'm not going to tell you. That's it.
It's the dragons. It's the dragons.
The dragons.
The dragons are the dragon's gonna blow fire like behind, and he's gonna just be propulsed. The dragons on the bike and on the skin suit.
So wait, let me back up because I'm just looking at the start list. My bad. Are you trying to tell me that Education First is going to have the yellow jersey?
I'm saying
because I just mentioned I will eat. You see that little metal Eiffel tower over there? I will fucking eat that thing. If Education First ever has.
Do not say that. Do not say that, Lance.
Yes. Thank you, Johan. And who's
let me
willing,
see how hard is it going to be to eat this little thing?
Who's going to be willing to risk it all on every corner with nothing to lose is Bissinger.
I will eat a metal Eiffel Tower.
Great. He will be ass over bandbox. Oh, this is going to suck having to eat this. Do we have like a grinder? Can we get it ground up?
Dip it in chocolate or something.
We'll settle for sitting on it.
Maybe I agree. Ganna is the big favorite. Ganna is the big favorite.
This is the cool thing about members. And otherwise, I would just edit all that out. Where I said I was going to eat this thing if Education First has a yellow jersey. But fuck, the show is live. You guys heard it here live. I can't walk it back.
Okay, so you got Ganna, Johan. You got Ganna.
I got Ganna and maybe Van Aert.
And I want to hear. Out of the GC favorites, who you got? I'm going to go with Roglic out of the GC favorites. Not saying he's going to win. I'm going to say he's going to be at the top of the GC favorites.
Me too.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll go with that.
That's fine?
I mean,
that's all you got for me?
I'd probably pick Pogačar.
Okay, you got Pogačar.
Yeah. If it's wet, technical, Pogačar has the same chances as Roglic because he's the better bike handler than Roglic.
Yes, agreed. It is going to be wet and hairy. Speaking of members, we're doing, we rolled out the outcome show for the Tour of Italy. So if you look and we've got some feedback. Oh, you're going to make people lose their lives. If you're ever bet on anything, which we all have, but you can bet on cycling, you can bet on the Tour de France. So why not, if you're going to go lay down a bet on something, why not get educated? So Johan and our good friend Spencer Martin have a show just kind of going through all the different odds makers, looking at the different bets. We're not telling you to do this or not to do this or what to do or what place bets on or not. Just to recommend, if you're going to bet, go in educated.
Even if you want to do friendly bets with your buddy.
Yeah.
It's a very entertaining show.
Right. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun, but let's lay down a little action.
A little action.
All right, what do we got? JB, questions? George is I can tell him he's starting to shake a little. He needs a little dry farm.
Well, I was going to say something about the show as well. I'm very excited that America's favorite house guest is going to be here for the whole month. So I'm going to take residences in the Armstrong residence, and I'll be able to bet as well because you can bet in Colorado.
Yeah.
So, Johan, I'm going to
wait. Are you staying in my house?
No, but I could say I am.
Use your address.
I was like, wait, nobody said we rented you a different setup.
Look, talk about sweating. He got all sweaty.
No, I would love to have you over.
I've known this man for 30 years, and I know I cannot stay with him for 30 days straight. It's not going to end well.
He's got the diva suite too, big tub and his own balcony.
Good.
Yeah. Here's a few emails that came in already.
Hopefully a vacuum cleaner for after he manscapes. You're gonna need a fucking industrial sized vacuum cleaner to get this
Dyson
stuff
is
off
our
the
new
ground.
sponsor.
No, this is it. No, I've seen the man in the shower
How about
after a
questions?
stage.
How about them questions? Coming at you.
This is funny because it says, boys, when Georgie and Captain Cranky LA talk about the tour, I'll say
I like it, Captain Cranky.
George is coming in cranky this year, and Johan's getting some cranky points too. So this is going to be a good year. When they talk about the tour, they speak about stress and pressure. So my question is this: did they ever enjoy riding the tour, or is it simply a 3-week punish? Love the show. Keep up the work. Danny M. in New South Wales, Australia.
Oh, it's a great question. I'll take a first shot at it. I think always, and we talk about it all the time on the show, the first week is just terrible. Like you just have, you said it, right? You can lose it, you can't win it. You just got to get through it. This one that we're about to start tomorrow is an extreme version of a normal first week. I would not want to be on that start line. And then after you get a weekend, things start to get a little settled. Certainly after either, in our day, a first long time trial or first mountain day, then the pecking order is established. Or even, of course, the team time trial, that would also go a long ways to establishing the pecking order, which, by the way, they have to start bringing it back. I mean, the team time trial is amazing. But no, it's week one. It just sucks. It's a job.
It's a war zone. At the same time, when I was there, I just felt, you're gonna laugh. I was grateful to be there. You're at the big show. You made it, and you're gonna put everything you got into it. And it's only 5 hours a day that you have to focus. The most important part for me was to be with your boys in the bus, and have fun and try to laugh, and not think about how stressful and how dangerous the next day is gonna be, but think about call your family, talk to your friends, tell stories, have fun when you're not racing.
There's probably little great moments of joy after a day where you guys just crush it. But then you wake up and go, oh shit, here we go, right?
Here we go again. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Another email. Love the podcast. This question is for George. Being a classics guy, would you rather win a one-day monument race or the green jersey at the Tour de France?
Ooh.
From Scott. Good question.
I would say for me, but one-day monument. I definitely had a better chance of doing that, and I was close in that many times. I never really thought about the green jersey.
Okay.
That's the right answer. Yeah. I mean, if it's a pair, if you're George, this question was for George. I'm just going to keep answering for George. How fucked up is that? All right, I'm not.
All right, one more question, and we'll wrap up for today. Ken suggests take a drink every time Bob Key Roll says Sepp Kuss is from Durango, Colorado. It's a drinking game.
Is
Well,
that a question?
that's because Bob has spent a lot of time in Durango.
Love the move. Can't wait to watch it every night after the Tour de France.
And we might take you up on that if we weren't watching the race at 8 a.m.
Yeah.
We got problems if we're taking sips at 8 a.m.
And we love Bobke, and Bobke's actually over there this year. The first time NBC sent those guys over. So it'll be fun to hear from him once in a while.
Well, Ken sent that in from Raleigh, North Carolina, down sort of near you, George.
Yeah.
And if you want to write and ask any questions, any comments for the show, TheMoveItWeDo.team. Of course, Johan joined us here today, his third show today. Moving forward, we'll be bringing back JB Squared, where after this show, Johan goes much more in depth on tactics, outcomes, and La Movida as well.
That's right. All right. Thanks for tuning in.
See you guys tomorrow.
See you guys
on the
bright and
Daily.
early tomorrow, and then we'll, every day for 3 weeks straight. Actually, 4 weeks straight. You get to leave, but, we're going to keep going on for another week.
Femmes. We're covering Femmes.
The Tour de France Femme avec Zwift. All right. See y'all tomorrow.